what we want to do is take reckless drivers off the road, and we want to change their behavior. So I think a lot of the focus we've had before has been on ticketing. What this bill's focus really is changing people's behavior. So if you are found to have a pattern of driving way too fast or running through red lights, then if you hit a certain threshold, 5 excessive driving tickets, 3 blowing through red lights, then we're going to take you off the road. And we're going to put you through a driver education class that's going to show the impact of your high-speed driving. Because we know when people drive excessively fast and hit a pedestrian at high speed, that person has basically no chance of surviving. Because what I want to emphasize with this bill, Jan, is the point is we don't want to take people off the road permanently. What we want them to do is drive safer. And so that's what this bill does. It's based on a program in New York City that has been proven to change people's driving behavior when they go through it.
One reason I was really interested in this bill, we did a story maybe 3 or 4 months ago. There was a guy with like 12 or 13 moving violations, and I still don't think he's been caught. And I was curious, how are you going to enforce this? Because I guess it would still take, people on the ground to find these drivers. How will you go about that?
Well, when you hit the threshold and you have 5 excessive speed moving violations, then when your car's on the street and our Department of Transportation people are booting cars, you're going to get booted. Right now I think you can get booted if you have 3 unpaid tickets, but we'll make sure that your car is taken off the road, and we want you to switch your behavior, change your habits, understand that driving 65 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone is not only dangerous for others, but dangerous for you.
My apologies. I should have been more specific. I mean, will you employ more booters?
In terms of that, that is not built into the bill right now. But in terms of, I hear your point, which is if you're going to pass this legislation, then it's got to have teeth. You got to do it. Because what we want to do is create a deterrent, right? That people know that, hey, you drive too fast, you're going to get booted, you're going to get taken off the road. And hopefully you wouldn't have to go through a driver education class. Hopefully you just say, you know what, I should just slow down, which is what we want you to do.
And remind me, I could be wrong here, but Councilmember Che is trying to do that as well, get more people on the street.
I think there are a number of bills. I mean, what I'll say, Jan, is as an at-large member, I'm all over the city. And traffic safety has risen to one of the top issues that you hear in Congress Heights. You hear it in Cleveland Park. I live on Capitol Hill. It is an issue for everyone. So there are a number of bills. Councilmember Henderson has a bill that I'm a co-introducer on that would bring back points to the automatic traffic enforcement. So, I do think the council is responding to, what we've noticed is a pattern of behavior since COVID of people driving at excessive speeds. And it just, it makes it, I'm a driver, I'm a biker. I live on Capitol Hill, right near H Street. So, when I get my groceries, I walk to the Giant. So I know that, people who drive way too fast are a danger to all of us.
And you kind of hit on my next question here. I talked to WABA earlier in the day, and they said they were very encouraged by all of these bills that are currently coming through the council. There's the right turn on red one to add to that. Basically, you're telling me that a lot of people are asking for this legislation right now across the district, and that's why the council is responding. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've been all over the city. And I'm an at-large member, so I'm in all different neighborhoods. And this issue comes up in every neighborhood. People are concerned about being able to walk their kids to school safely. People are concerned about being able, we have more people getting on their bikes than ever. I've been biking in the city for 3 decades. And, it is, what I will say is, we've done a lot of great infrastructure, bike lanes and so forth, but we have a lot more people biking and we have a lot more people driving fast. And that's a bad combination. So, I think there are a number of strategies to deploy in terms of slowing people down. Certainly putting in street infrastructure that slows people down is important. But we also have to change human behavior. That's part of banning right turn on red. That is saying, hey, if you are caught repeatedly driving way too fast, then we need to show the consequences of your actions through what's called a restorative justice type approach. So the idea is not to penalize you. The idea is to change your habits.
And that's the last thing I wanted to get into was habits, behavior. I know there are obviously a lot of people, cyclists, pedestrians, who would love for this legislation and the other legislations or pieces of legislation to pass. But we've also interviewed drivers for various proposals who have been very hesitant to accept these. One person told Delia Gonçalves, I just don't like it at all. How do you contend with that, changing, behavior that has been around for decades upon decades upon decades? Is that something you can actually be successful with in the short term?
Well, that's the point of the class, John, is that speed kills. And excessive speed has a high likelihood of killing somebody. And I don't think, what I hear is drivers are like, oh, the L Street bike lane's confusing. I don't know which lane I should be in. But I haven't heard too many drivers say, yeah, I want to drive 100 miles an hour on Southern Avenue. Do people drive 100 miles an hour on Southern Avenue? Yes, it's the deadliest street in the district. I will say, look, we're all in a rush sometimes, and perhaps we drive a little faster than we should. But what we are going after here are people who are dangerous drivers, driving at dangerous speeds, in which in a city residential street, you should not be driving like you're on the highway. And that, I don't think that's too controversial, John. Maybe deciding should it be 20 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour might be, there might be a little friction there, but I'm on a residential street in Ward 4 right now. And should somebody be barreling down this street at 65 miles an hour? No. That's a danger. That's why we see all these flipped cars. And certainly we've seen an uptick in fatal crashes. And that's because people are just driving way too fast. I think I've made that point a number of times, and I'll just say, I think the objection a lot of people have is the punitive approach that we have. And that's what this bill is trying, do we take you off the road if you've been found to have a dangerous pattern of behavior? Yes. But the point is we want to get you into a better pattern of behavior and a safe, so that you're driving at safe speeds for yourself and for everyone else.